with Craig Kallen, who is our go-to guy. He is the partner, managing member of the Kallen Law Firm, and he is our go-to divorce expert. Good morning, Craig. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, good morning, McGraw. How are you?
Good. So we touched on this while they were debating the tax bill, but now that it's signed into law, this is a little-known story that's not getting a lot of attention, so we thank you for spending a couple minutes with us. We wanted you on to explain what happens to the payee and the payor of alimony or maintenance now with this new tax bill.
Well, what happens, and what's important for your listeners, is that unless you file after December 31st, 2018, okay, this law doesn't affect you. So any divorce that's in place now or one that's filed on or before December 31st, 2018, the old 75-year law remains in place.
So everything's grandfathered from the end of this year?
Correct.
Okay.
Once you file January 1st, 2019 forward, the new law takes effect.
Okay. All right, so everyone's grandfathered in. So this is for all the future divorcees.
Correct. So you have 1 year, you have this year, 2018, to get into court and have the old law apply as to maintenance payments.
Okay.
So that's the important thing to know. Now, what this law does is it makes the deductibility of maintenance not deductible, so that the payor gets no tax benefit and the payee pays no taxes. So it's a non-taxable event.
Okay, what was it before?
Well, it was a taxable event. The recipient paid taxes on the alimony, and the payor was able to deduct those payments to the payee. So in essence, if I can draw out a little scenario for you, McGraw, let's say a guy's paying $30,000 in spousal maintenance.
Okay.
He's in the higher tax bracket, so he can deduct 33% of that, let's say, or $9,000.
Okay.
Puts $9,000 in his pocket. The payee receiving that $30,000 would be in a lower tax bracket, or let's say 15%, and she would have to pay out in taxes $4,500. So the couple pockets $4,500. There's a $4,500 tax savings.
Right.
That tax savings in 2019 forward goes away, and so what that's going to do, in my opinion, is render the payor paying less and the payee getting less, because $4,500 in the scenario I just gave you is taken out of the formula.
Right. So in other words, the person paying the alimony doesn't get the tax benefit, so they're not going to want to pay as much.
Yeah, they're not going to want to pay as much, exactly. And the courts won't order them to pay as much because the courts recognize the tax benefit and factor that into the analysis. So in the end, I don't know how far we're really getting with this tax cut. I think that the families are the ones that take it in the shorts, and the government gets the extra money.
Right. But the person receiving the alimony, I guess it's a windfall for them because they don't pay any taxes on the money they get.
But they'll probably get less.
Right.
Because there won't be that tax impact factored into it.
Right.
But you're correct, everything else being equal. But when the divorce lawyers look at it and the judge looks at it, the recipient probably gets less. You know who gets more is the government. And, what's interesting is that only 243,000 women, McGraw, receive maintenance. It's not a very big population.
Right.
And, they project that only 0.5% of the tax cut is attributable to this particular tax cut program.
So, Craig Kallen with the Kallen Law Firm, what, your lobbyists weren't very good in Washington, D.C.? What happened?
No, they weren't. The National Organization of Women and the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers opposed it, because what you're doing is you're taking money away from the divorced couple. That $4,500 I was talking about is going to the government instead of staying within the family, if you will.
Right.
Although it's a broken family, they're still joined at the hip as far as taxes go.
Right.
So the government's collecting more taxes, and the recipient's getting less maintenance. then the payor is getting less of a deduction.
Right, and the payor isn't very happy with this because whoever was paying was at least getting some tax break on it. So even though they were paying it, and no one likes to pay alimony, I'm assuming, or maintenance, at least there was some taxable benefit for it.
Absolutely. Like the guy I was, referring to before, paying $30,000 a year, was getting to put in his pocket $9,000 when the dust settled after his deduction.
Right, and so the family's getting less, and the government's getting more.
Yeah, and to think of all the things that they could have cut, and they decided to hone in on this one is quite mysterious to me.
It really is interesting, and it really is interesting that it's getting absolutely no attention whatsoever.
No attention whatsoever. So for your listeners, 2018 is important. If you're thinking about getting divorced and alimony is going to be part of it, to file before the end of the year.
Yeah. Craig Kallen, managing member of the Kallen Law Firm. Weird and wacky stuff. Thanks for checking in, Craig. Have a good day.
No problem.